Hello all and welcome back to the Fantasy Football Veterans series from Fantasy Football Hub. So in the first two videos in this series we met the FPL legend and the Mark McGettigan and got to learn about his impressive fantasy history. If you missed them, the links are in the description below. In this video we're going to learn how Mark managed to make it to being a full-time FPL manager. So firstly, Mark, working full-time in fantasy football is the absolute dream for many a fantasy football manager. How did you jump from an enthusiast and an addict, like most of us are, to actually working full-time in fantasy football?
I think I joined the FPL community on Twitter just at the right time. I was just coming off two top 500 finishes, and Chief, FPL Hints and Fantasy Your Man, all those kind of people to really get me off the ground. And ever since then, it's just been a steadily, it's grown very steadily and it's grown pretty organically as well. I like to think I put out good, FPL content that people like to follow, kind of vary it as well. So, well through Twitter, meeting people who work down in London at the FPL show, people who end up working at the Athletic, it's all about connections. I think a big thing, advice I always give to people on Twitter is when they start out is get to know people and build those connections with people, because those are the people that are going to end up meeting. Doors just kept opening for me, and it's like it was just meant to be that I was meant to kind of work full time in fantasy. And I'm a big believer in, once you put your mind to something, doors will open for you. The universe will work in your favor. So that was it. Started out doing bits and pieces for websites, whether it be writing FPL articles. Ended up doing a bit of social media management as well. But it's all self-taught as you go. You learn as you go. I built my own Twitter account very quickly, and I was able to use that experience for others. Doing the social media management now for well, like the Hub and stuff. And over 3 or 4 years of being on FPL Twitter, you learn what works and what doesn't work. So it's nice to be able to share that experience now.
And I completely agree with you in terms of, say, the doors opening. I've always been a big believer, kind of in every aspect of work, that if you take every opportunity, if you're nice to people, if you get on with people, then one thing, I've got this kind of thing which I teach my kids about. If you go in one door, there's normally another two there, and you've got kind of options then, on what you want to do and what not. And when you go through the next door, there are more options again and more options again. And as you say, if you're professional, if you're approachable, if you're easy to kind of work with, if you do high quality work in whichever aspect of life, I think, but taking those opportunities and putting yourself out there, I think it sets you aside from the majority of other people, I think, doesn't it?
I think the most important thing you said there was one word. It's nice. Just be a nice person, and that will get you a long way in life, not just within the FPL community or if you're working full time in fantasy. Just be, if you're a nice person, just be yourself, and things will happen for you. Then good things happen to good people. So if you don't, like I say, don't try and be somebody you're not. Just be genuine. And I think the people who are most successful, especially in the FPL community and stuff, they're the people that are just themselves. They're really genuine. They care about the community. They care about fantasy, and that's the way you should. What you should strive to be if you want to be, an FPL Twitter account.
Great stuff. So, what does being a full-time FPL manager entail? So, if someone is wondering, how you kind of wake up in the morning and you go to bed at night. So, what kind of happens in between? What kind of things do you get up to?
Yeah, I suppose the easiest thing to do is just kind of explain what a day is like for me, or what a normal week is like. So as I mentioned in previous videos, my wife is a primary school teacher, so she doesn't drive. So I get up. It's good that she doesn't drive because it forces me out of bed in the morning to take her to work. So usually I take her to work about 8 o'clock. That's me home, and I'll sit down, get a bit of breakfast, and I'll sit down at the desk about 9 o'clock. Then and I'll try and work around her. So I'll try and do like a 9 to 4 or a 9 to 5, Monday to Friday, and then just have the evenings to spend with her and the weekends. I tend to try and switch off as much as I can at the weekends. Yeah. Once the FPL deadline comes, that's me laptop down, apart from watching games. Yeah, so Monday to Friday then is spent really interacting mostly with Patreon subscribers, whether that be through WhatsApp, on Slack channel or on Twitter. And what I like about that most is, you're sitting there. I'm sitting here in Glasgow, and I'm talking to people in almost every country around the globe, and that's what I love about FPL. it's a global game,
Yeah.
you know. So it's you're getting to know people in all corners of the world. And someday I think I'm going to just jump on a flight and do a world tour and go and visit all these FPL managers and visit as many countries as I can.
Amazing.
So yeah, it's the other things I do during the week. Then I obviously do my podcast, so you spend some time researching for that, recording it, writing articles for the Hub and the Athletic as well, and just mainly Patreon content. Doing extra podcasts for them, articles, all that kind of stuff, and watching games. I switch off a lot at the weekends. So what I tend to do is I'll record games, and I'll sit up late. Then some nights, I'll let my wife go to bed and on a Tuesday or Wednesday, and I'll watch a game or two, and just analyze it. And then I'm obviously sharing that information on wherever, Twitter or with subscribers. So I'll probably watch 5 or 6 games a week. Every game that's live on UK TV, whether it's Pt3 or Sky Sports, I'm watching it. I might not watch it live, but I'll watch it at some point before the end of the week.
Fantastic. The absolute dream there, mate, blimey. So does being a full-time FPL manager put more pressure on you to keep trying to achieve these incredible ranks that you've seen previously?
100%. Yeah. I think, if you talk the talk, you have to walk the walk. It's if you're putting yourself out there as someone who is helping people to be, a better FPL manager, you've got to be doing well yourself. But it definitely adds a lot more pressure. Especially when you've got your own podcast every week, and you do things like you appear on the FPL show. There's almost you're putting a target on your back almost. There's a lot of people out there who will. Last season, for example, I had my worst ever season. I don't know, 550k. There's a lot of people out there who would have enjoyed that, because I put myself out there, and they like people. That's the way human beings are. They like to see these kind of people fail. But yeah, it definitely does, and it definitely affects my game. I think it definitely affected my game last season, because if you're spending Monday to Friday talking to other FPL managers, and basically FPL's on your mind 24/7, and it's not healthy. When it comes to making your own decisions, then on a Friday night, your brain's completely fried. Absolutely. And I found that last season I made a lot of very poor decisions because I was completely overthinking everything. So yeah, definitely more pressure, and it definitely affects my game as well.
Great stuff, and really good insight there, Mark as well. Thank you very much for that. So in the next video, we will be asking Mark for his fantasy football tips. The link is in the description below.